Hey guys, what's up, LEICHTBAU guys? Welcome back to Forza Motorsport with a new series. You see, it's been a while since I built a car and raced it against another car in a time trial, essentially. And I couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. I tried one with P class, that didn't work. R class wasn't not working either. And I eventually came up with this. You see, last year was pretty much the year of the Nürburgring lap records, with Lamborghini, Nio, and McClaren all holding records on this track for a given amount of time. And the current unofficial record holder for a road legal car around the Nürburgring is this guy, the McClaren P1. Now this is the GTR version. There's a company in England which will convert a McClaren P1 GTR into what they call a McClaren P1 LM, which is basically a road legal version of this, and that did a 6-minute, 43-second lap of the Nürburgring. That's very fast. That's very, very fast. So, I'm gonna build a bunch of road legal cars to try and beat that time. And it's gonna be very difficult, because I set both times around here. I have the actual time that the real life car did, and I set a time with this vehicle, which will appear later on. I think it's like a 6:44 or something. And yeah, we're gonna see if anything can go faster than it around the Nürburgring. Now the vehicles will have 2 laps. The only restrictions is that it must be on sport tires, and it must have been a road legal car back then. So the DBR1, the Maserati 250, which are not road legal at the time because they were race cars, would not be eligible. Same thing with the Nissan R380. Now, the road-going homologation versions, such as the Porsche 911 Stratavision or the CLK GTR, stuff like that, those are perfectly fine. Same thing with the Group B rally cars, such as the Focus, the RS200, which is a road legal version. We have that in Forza. So those will be eligible, but no race cars are eligible, and they must be on sport tires to maintain road legal status. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting challenge to see if anything can beat it. It's going to be very difficult. 4-wheel drive cars are likely the way to go, but maybe rear-wheel drive cars? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So the first vehicle is the Porsche 911 LEICHTBAU edition, because I really like it. It's a different vehicle. I've never heard of it. Apparently it's really rare. But we are going to build up the LEICHTBAU edition, whatever it's pronounced, I don't know. I will go for engine swap. Oh, I know I can get 1,000. I'm gonna go for the V. I haven't built one of these in a long time. I'm gonna go for the V8, which is a lot of cash. That's about, okay. Gonna go for twin turbos. This is the Ferrari 458 engine, so that is hideous. It's like you pancake the front. That's what a classic Porsche is supposed to look like. And then you just flattened it. It looks like you kind of went at it with a saw. Now we're gonna go with the Forza Aero. We want all the downforce possible to try and go around the Nürburgring. Has 187 corners, I believe. What? Hang on. That little tiny lip, about 1/4 of an inch, is supposed to give us downforce. Okay. Sure. No, wait. No, I just wasted a ton of money. There we go. Sport tires, forgot about that. I'm so used to putting them on race tires. 2 7.5s on the front is pretty nice. And 3 4.5s on the rear. Yes, that's what we want. That is what we want indeed. Gonna put all this stuff on. This is actually a pretty good S-Class, possibly. Depending on the car, just on the track, I guess. Because we are right... There we go, there's our class. This may get into P class. I have no idea. We shall see. But that, I think, is the small... You can't even see it. At least on most vehicles with the ducktail, you can at least see the wing. You can't even see it from the side. It's invisible from the side view. That is a first. That is a first. Now, this is going to be a very light car. Going to be probably under 2,500 pounds, probably. So let's just finish building this up. Yep, 2,406 pounds. Pretty good. We're going to have a pretty good power weight ratio in this one, because we should get the exhaust lightning. Some of these parts will add lightning, like the air intake. That'll add lightness. Here we go. Yep, that's below 2,340 pounds now. So it's at 2,340 pounds. There we go. Up to 730 horsepower. And that's 740 horsepower. Turbos at 121. We're now going to push 914 horsepower. I was expecting a little more. I will be honest, we are slightly above 4,200 pounds. So, there you go. 914 horsepower, 2,400 pounds, rear-wheel drive, German Porsche engineering, with the tiniest wing you'll ever see. It's probably not even visible. It's so tiny. I'm curious as to how this will fare. So we are here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife track to try and beat a 6:43 around the Nordschleife. And that's not good. I have 2 laps to try and go as fast as possible. And we, a little bit of oversteer from the Porsche. Ooh, a lot of oversteer from the Porsche. Can't quite go full throttle on these corners. Now, amusingly, the downforce on the vehicle is actually more than a standard car with a standard Forza Aero. We don't get 100 pounds of downforce. We get 101 pounds of downforce on the front splitter. Oh, getting some airtime. Airtime on the way to brake. Ugh. That's a fair old bit of airtime. I'm never truly prepared for that. Ever. Oh. We have 2 laps. The first lap's gonna be a sighting lap, essentially. But this is a fast car. I did do a lap with the P1 GTR, the version that the P1 GT was based off of. Ooh. The car that's unofficially holding the world record for the fast Nuremberg time. That is the racing version of it, basically. And I did get a little bit of practice with that. I did a little bit of driving just to make sure I knew the track relatively well. I mean, it's very difficult to properly know the Nürburgring, because there are just so many corners. You pretty much just have to guesstimate, how it goes on each corner based on the previous ones, so it's very much a sighting lap. This first one, somehow we haven't gone completely off the track besides that very beginning, where I wasn't paying attention, I was looking at the speedometer. Yeah, it is a pretty quick car. It's gonna be faster than the P1 on the straightaway, guaranteed. Has 100 more horsepower and has much less. I said it was only went off once. That's the second time. Has much less downforce, but that downforce comes in handy for the P1 pretty much everywhere else, except a few sections which are relatively lengthy. So it's going to be very difficult to beat that McClaren, I think. Now, the reason I have I'm going to have both times on the leaderboard, it's just so that we have a in-game comparison, because Forza isn't always the most accurate when it comes to cars setting identical lap times. So I have the racing version and the real-life version, if you will. So the one in Forza 7, the best lap I got was at 6:44. So, about a second off the real-life version. Just for comparison's sake. So, if it can beat that, that would be a fantastic showing from the Porsche. Don't quite trust the rear end, though. I think we're heading into the carousel section if I remember my track layout. Kind of slow down here, I have no idea. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Holy, yep, here's carousel. That, it's very scary in this car, because we have a lot of power, and we don't quite have enough rear end grip for the high speed corners. Crap, outbrake myself. Just about pulled it up in time. Just about made it. We just don't quite have that rear end grip hugged the inside. Ugh. There we go, perfect around the carousel. Now, whoa, hit the curve. Curve was mean. Curve was very mean. These laps will probably not be perfect. Maybe towards the end of this, or midway through the series, as I get more used to it, I'll get better at the course. But these early runs, certainly will be, I say scruffy. They won't be the greatest laps of the Nürburgring you'll ever see. Probably not the worst, but yeah, because I've never been a big fan of the Nürburgring, just because it's so difficult to memorize every corner and it's so narrow. It's maybe 2 cars wide if you're uber brave. So, and this vehicle is not helping with the wheel spin and the lack of grip, and it has slight amounts of understeer, which is manageable, but the grip is the main problem. It just wants to slide out at you. There you go. Alright, first time properly into the barriers because I lost the back end. So, yeah. It's a very nasty track. That's the reason why it's called the Green Hell. Whoa, and the bump and the angles and the elevation changes are just brutal. And again, this, like, I was doing so well. There we go, now I'm in full throttle mode. And I'm immediately back into a corner with a very nasty curve that's throwing me out wide. Yeah, this vehicle does not quite have enough rear end grip around the high speed corners for the bumps and the hills. Just offloads the rear tires, and it is just wheel spin every minute. And now we do have the one bit of easiness as we shoot down the straight. Yeah, we're already slower than McClaren right in 10 seconds. Well, this is where I should catch up a little bit. There we go, 200 miles an hour. 210, this thing should go 233. Probably won't reach it on this back straight. There we go, yeah, we are now slower. Now be brave, be brave. Oh, that's really close. Holy crap. That was terrifying, going around that kink at some 200 plus miles an hour. We did go sub 720, which is pretty good for a first lap in this car, with a few off-track excursions and a lot of scariness. Now here's where it counts. Final lap. I do like this section up here though. I do like the switchbacks. And that is a very cool section of corners. I do really like that section. Turn a fraction too early. Here we go. Heading up to the scary bit. We're gonna get airborne. Ready? There we go. Perfect. That was very good. Come on, keep your foot down, keep your foot down, keep your foot down. 195 miles an hour down there. It's both very good and very scary. because there's kinks and there's crusts and there's lots of things that want to kill you. Ooh, around the edge there, we're good. Here we go. Again, another 190 miles an hour. Being a little bit cautious. I don't want to go off the track. Don't want to get wheel spin. Don't want to do a lot of things. A little bit of wheel spin, we're fine. Heading into the really slow section here. Got the power nice and easily. Here we go. Rocking him to 150, 160, 170 brakes. Ugh. 170, this thing accelerates to 190 stupidly quick. After that it begins to slow down. But it is a very quick car, accelerating. Once you get that power down, it is very good at delivering it. It's just getting there in the first place. It is a little bit dicey, heading around these corners like there. You can't quite go full throttle, even in third gear. We don't quite have the grip for that. Ooh. You can just feel it, the controller vibrates like mad around this track, because the controller vibrates every time the wheels begin slipping. So it's always vibrating, it's constantly vibrating. And it's a very crucial track to know your throttle control. Like there, just hit the crest and it just wobbled. It just spun the wheels up a little bit. If we can get under 7 minutes, I'll be very happy with this car. Because this is terrifying. Flat out, flat out, flat out. There we go. Not flat out through there. No! No! Keep your foot down. We didn't lose atrocious amounts of time. I hit a crest. I couldn't do anything about it. That's disappointing. But we kept our foot. We kept some speed through there. We kept some speed. So it's not a total loss. We did lose a bit of time, though. Let's make it up to the later sections, where we lost all that time on the previous lap. This vehicle, I think, can go sub 7 minutes. It's all a matter of how few mistakes do I make. Don't drift around the carousel. That's not fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's not the best lap time, and it's not going to help our overall pace. We should still be up a fraction, hopefully, over the previous lap. Question is, by how much? About 3 seconds, despite that little, wall incident. We're fine. I'm just pushing it. Just keep her going. Clower the curves. Oh, that was super close to the edge. Holy cow. That's something you don't want to experience, getting the wheels nearly on the grass at the Nuremberg. Because that usually means a trip to the wall for you, like you saw at the beginning. Wheel spin. Holy cow, I'm pushing it a lot. Well, that's a really nasty corner. Coast it. There we go. Get on the power, get on the power. Keep your foot down a little bit. Coast. There we go. Got a little bit of air time there. Christ. Come on. No. That was not the car's fault. Get traction. Thank you. That was not the car's fault. That was me being stupid. We need to get maximum attack now. Because that cost us a lot of time. That set switched back. We got a really bad spot, that wheel spin. We just couldn't get the back end planted. Even when I was off power. Come on, push it, push it, push it, push it. Here we go. On the straight. We're some 8 seconds faster. Come on. Be brave in here. Be brave. Don't lift. Don't brake until the last millisecond. Come on, Porsche. Don't brake, don't brake, brake! Holy cow, that was scary. We carried a lot of speed into there. Come on, across the line! Yes! We made up an entire second on that one braking zone. That was terrifying. Holy cow. Well, it's some 20 seconds off of that McClaren. Yeah, even with the fishtail and the brush against the wall, I don't think we would have gone faster. It would have definitely been in the sub 7 minutes, which is a little bit disappointing. I would have liked this vehicle to get into the sub 7 minutes, but you know, what can you do? And I mean, I did the best I could. I could have rewinded because I was stupid and looked up at something instead of where I was going. I could have rewinded, but I didn't think that'd be fair. So yeah, it will definitely not beat it, but how fast can it go in a straight line? So the Porsche, its goal is to try to beat 269 miles an hour. I don't think it's gonna beat that, because the vehicle that did that had some 2,000 horsepower. This has 900. I mean, it's very good at 900, very good, don't get me wrong. We're up to 180, 190 on the exit of the corner. 200 on the exit of the corner makes that. It's very fast accelerating. There's 220, 225, 230, 231. We are officially faster than the Mark III Golf. Thank you, Porsche. I don't really want to change up a gear because I think that might be a fuel economy gear. Come on, 237, 38. Come on, 240. Come on, 240. Come on. 239, I saw 239, 240, come on, it's in the curb. Oh, come on, no, we lost a few miles an hour in the corner, we're not gonna make it, that's unfortunate. And slam on the brakes. This does have fantastic brakes. I will give the Porsche that it has incredible brakes. So 239. That is very respectable. It goes into 4th place, I believe, around that area for sure. Beating the the Mulk 4 Golf, the Golf from 1990. That was fantastic at 233. This is 6 miles an hour faster than that. Still a bit off the vehicles like the Fiat 124. Which is 252, Subaru Impreza, Legacy thingy, whatever it's called. And then, of course, there's the Fast and Furious GTX Hemi, which is just absurd, at 269. So, yeah, the Porsche, for having much, much less horsepower than all of those vehicles, excluding the Golf, did very, very good. So, yeah. Overall, pretty impressive car. I really, really like this vehicle. It's a fantastic addition to Forza. I highly recommend getting the new DLC pack if you haven't. But that is it for this episode of Forza Motorsports. I'll be back with more.